second I flip over to another channel, Necessary Roughness is on. Okay? And I'm thinking the only thing that would make this morning any better, besides the fact that you were coming in studio, would be that if Varsity Blues was on another channel.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what of those three football movies, and I know you love all of them probably in different ways, of all three football movies, which one of those is your favorite, and does it matter how realistic it is, or do you like the comedy aspect, or you like the serious aspect of Friday Night Lights, and Varsity Blues kind of has both? What's your go-to football movie?
Hey, my favorite one out of those three is definitely Friday Night Lights, and I like Billy Bob Thornton. I like it. It's serious. Varsity Blues was great. I don't remember that much about it. It's an older movie, but what I remember about Varsity Blues actually is that there were a lot of cheesy motifs for movies at that time, and then they actually spun a movie into Not Another Teen Movie. And I just remember in Not Another Teen Movie them having the football coach and the Billy Bob guy, the linebacker who's about to pass out on the field. they pulled that guy back out. But Necessary Roughness, same thing. I don't really remember as much about that, but a huge Friday Night Lights fan. I love it.
Necessary Roughness has got some hilarious moments in it. There's some, you got Sinbad's in it. You got Paul Bakula or Scott Bakula. You got Jason Bateman, Hector Alonzado, Robert Loggia's. Those are the coaches. And then they had the scene where they play the team from the penitentiary. You remember that?
Vaguely.
Yeah. So the guy who's like not the president of the school, who's played by Fred Thompson, but the dean, played by this comedian named Larry Miller. And if you look up Larry Miller, you'll be like, oh, that guy's in everything. Bald guy, kind of real like dry sense of humor. Anyway, so he's like, oh, coach, I've done you the service of arranging a scrimmage, and it's the Texas State Penitentiary. They've really defined. I guess there's more definition about the front office. I'll put it that way. We know Robert Parrish is still in charge. We know that this guy Evan Kleiman's in charge. The whatever director of player personnel. It seems like the roles are more defined now than they were under Chris Wallace. Do you have confidence that they're at least headed in the right direction?
Well, I mean, I have significantly more confidence now than I had 6 months ago.
Okay.
That's clear. I think they did about as good of a job this past draft as they could have. I mean, to stay out of your own way, don't try to do too much type deal. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't half expecting them to call out R.J. Barrett's name or to announce some kind of a trade, just because I've been so conditioned to, watching the mishaps, happen over the past, 10 years or so. But
I like the way you put it. They try to stay out of their own way. Because it's like you can't necessarily blame a team for doing those types of things that you're talking about, because they think in their minds they're trying to, deal. But you're right. You stay out of your own.
Yeah.
He was in the early second round.
Right. And Hollinger kept on telling us, oh, we had him, with number 12 on our draft board or whatever. And,
So where's that guy now?
So he is actually in Houston. Houston picked him up, and I don't know. This is his last shot. Yeah, I think they just cut him. I think. Yeah. I mean, he's hanging on to his NBA life, by a fingernail. I mean,
it's funny. In the old days, no one ever said this. Okay, I'm telling you, no one ever said this, but they say it now, and it is refreshing in some respects that I hear that people say, maybe he just played basketball because he was tall and he was good at it. You know what I mean? You hear that about a lot of guys nowadays where they're like, oh, well, he just, he didn't really love basketball, but he was tall, and they said play basketball, and he was good at it, and, he knew that he could make some money doing it. So, I wonder if that's the case with Deontay Davis, that he just I'm 22 years old, I made a couple $100,000, and it's like, I don't even really like this anymore. I wonder.
I think there's something to that, but you would think, I hear you. I agree with you. you would just think, you've got this window to make money. I mean, even if your heart wasn't in it.
Exactly. You would think that you would take the skills you have, bust your ass for like the next 7 to 8 years, make as much money as you can, and then you're on easy street. I mean, how many people out there, I mean, look, you went to law school and you're actually a practicing attorney. Kurt Runger, Douglas and Runger, what's the phone number?
901-388-5805.
Yeah, we'll have a commercial for that later, but that's not the point. You actually practice law. How many people do you know that went to law school that don't practice law? Tons.
My boy Tim Couch. You know Tim Couch.
Right, I know, Dr. Trixie. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who go to law school and don't practice law. They realize they didn't like it, but with their education level, they can kind of afford not to practice law. If you dropped out of college after your freshman year and you wanted to play basketball, and then you decide you don't really like basketball, nothing says you can't go back to college. It's just you're in a bit of a bind as far as matching your actual skills to, a real life experience. I mean, I know people who have done jobs for 30, 40 years they didn't necessarily like, but they were able to do their jobs and provide, a lifestyle. I mean, it is crazy to me that you can't, suck it up and just do it for, I understand there's a lot to it, being, a lot of work that goes into playing basketball, but I mean, if he were to bust his ass and play basketball for like 7, 8 years, think about that. You're 28 years old and you got like $6-7 million in the bank, and then you can go be a truck driver or, do sports talk radio for free or, whatever you want to do.
Well, like what you said too, I mean, especially with him, he's so young. I mean, he spent his entire life